my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange,
Bang, bang. What's going on, guys? This is the main event on Talkin Hands. As always, I'm your host, Preston, joined by my co-host, Mr. Danny Betts. We're here to break down this Saturday's main event, huge fight, Canelo Alvarez, Dmitry Bivol. Before that, gonna recap Katie Taylor-Manaserrano and Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez. Danny, start with whichever fight you'd like.
We could talk about the chick fight for sure, man. That was one to remember, man. If you missed that fight, you definitely gotta check it out. Personally, for me, it's probably the best woman fight I've seen in at least in a long time at Madison Square Garden, New York. Man, so everybody's talking about Serrano got robbed, blah blah blah. And robbery, in my opinion, is used like too loosely, in my opinion. The one who got robbed was me, because I had the draw at plus 1,100, and I thought it should have been a draw. But if I had to pick, I think Taylor edged it out slightly, like by a hair, by literally a hair. I really thought it was going to be a draw, but Taylor, I mean, she deserved it. It was one of those types of fights that if it's a draw, it's fine for me. If it's Serrano, it's fine for me. If it's Taylor, it's fine for me. That's how close it was, in my opinion.
Yeah, I believe the people who were arguing, I guess, the robbery standpoint were saying Serrano had the biggest impact. Like, the rounds she won were more impressive, so to speak.
So people forget it's boxing or MMA. It doesn't matter. It goes by rounds. You can't say one round's more impactful and then take away what Taylor did for the rest of the fight.
Yes, I mean, that's just like UFC too, but, that's kind of like a fight will end, a guy will be bloodied up, but he's losing the majority of the rounds. He's, eating clean shots. He just hits the other guy harder. AB, I think, had basically the consensus scorecard from what I saw was Taylor won. As he says, 6-4. And people that shot robbery or people that lost bets.
Yeah, I'm with you, AB. Yeah, that's how I was scored too. One thing, because people forget, man, the first 3 rounds, Taylor was just giving her a boxing clinic, bro. And then the 4th round, you could argue that Serrano won. Of course, she had that big round, basically a 10-8 when she hurt her. But in my opinion, this is where Serrano lost the fight. Was in the later rounds, after she had that big round and stuff like that, I'm not gonna say she started gassing, she started slowing down, like if she was up big in the fight, and she started kind of coasting. And every time she would get inside, she, like we like to say, she likes to take pictures. She would just stand there and get countered by Taylor. So Taylor was having a lot of success with her left hand, countering her all night, especially at the end. And shout out to Taylor to survive that crazy round, getting hit like that, and then coming back, getting your second win and winning the fight late, man. It was crazy. What a fight, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, women's not MMA, boxing, they don't have those fights often. I remember growing up, it was Christy Martin and Layla Ali. Those were like the only 2 I remember. And that's another drawback with women's boxing, 2-minute rounds.
See, there's a debate with that. For me, I'm fine with the 2-minute rounds because I feel like a lot of girls are going to coast anyways. Remember, we're talking about the 2 best out there right now, Serrano and Taylor right now. So you don't see these type of fights all the time. But there's more time, obviously, for them to coast. Me, personally, I want to see a little bit smaller gloves. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I think before they were to do that, they'd probably extend the rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because, what was it? Serrano previously, she was not being mean, but she was being like scrubs on the Paul undercards.
Yeah.
She couldn't really get them out. But, I mean, good fight for women's boxing. Big fight feel. Twitter blew up. That was a huge night in general. And
You're
go ahead.
talking about a rematch.
That's what I was going to say. I assume there's going to be a rematch later down the year. Jake Paul supposedly is fighting August 13th. Maybe they put that on the Jake Paul fight. Doubt it, but you never know. We'll see who Jake Paul fights. But yeah, good fight for women's boxing. We move on to could say the main event, but both fights were great. Shakur Stevenson took out Oscar Valdez over the weekend, 12-round decision. Looked good. I had the prop we gave out on the show, 10 through 12. He really only had him probably 6 through 8, where it was like kind of like, oh, he might get him out of there.
It was still fun, boys. It was still fun. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but then he kind of coasted the last 3 rounds. He looked very good. I don't know if Twitter just found out about Shakur Stevenson.
Dude, I told you, man.
Or what's going on, but Twitter's now like all over the guy where it's like he's been boxing for a while, but it seemed like we talked about last week in the breakdown, almost a tailor-made fight for him. Valdez wouldn't have the speed, the power, the size, and Stevenson looked good. Danny, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, man, like I was saying, it was basically going to be his coming out party. A lot of people out there were like, oh, don't disrespect Valdez and stuff like that, which I wasn't. I love the guy. I love him watching his fights and stuff like that. But I was being disrespectful when it came to the line. And I said it in the other video. I'm like, dude, minus 800, minus 1,000, he's going to look like that because Valdez is going to get frustrated. He's not going to be able to catch him like he wants to. And that's exactly what happened. And if you guys didn't know, I don't know what round exactly. I think it was like the 3rd or 4th. It was early. Shakur Stevenson hurt his right hand. He said he bruised it up pretty bad. That's why you seen him throughout the fight. He kept pawing him, like basically stiffing him.
Yeah.
The ref, noticed it. And he, talked to him a couple times. But imagine if that right hand wasn't even hurt. Like maybe you could have got that knockout, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he was. I see where Jeff, it's not like discrediting him, but that's kind of a lot of that was the pawing.
Yeah,
and I guess it was, the damaged hand.
Yeah,
where
that's why. Yeah,
Valdez didn't throw nearly enough to give himself a chance. Yeah, Valdez was on the back foot. Valdez didn't really know what to do.
To Valdez credit, I mean, it's not saying a lot, but Valdez is the only guy to hit Shakur over 100 times. So at least
he did hit him clean.
Yeah.
There were moments in the rounds, but for like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it's Stevenson doing what he wants. And then Valdez hit him with a counter here and there. So, but yeah, great win for Shakur. Valdez, he'll probably get another title shot soon. Shakur, I don't really know what would be up with him if he is going to stay at 130, try to move up. There's not much challengers for him at 130 now, so
yeah, not sure. Oh, Foxy said I enjoyed the zone card as a whole. Does Jesse Rodriguez retire now? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I don't think he will. He might take another fight or two, but that's just my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, Jesse Vargas got knocked out by Liam Smith. I believe it's like the 10th round, and he's kind of pillow-fisted, so Jesse's in a tough position for sure. When he did charge in, Valdez had power. Yeah, Valdez did fine for, what was expected of him. He lasted in there. He took Shakur's shots. The knockdown was kind of weird too, even, where it almost looked like they tripped over themselves, kind of like on the hook, like near the ropes.
If you watch that again, I call that a footwork knockdown.
Yeah.
Because, of course, everybody should know Shakur Stevenson's footwork is ridiculous. So he hit him with a jab and then followed up with his left.
Yeah.
Again, and then he stepped to the side. And right at that moment is when Valdez threw that big right and lost his balance and he fell, basically. It wasn't like a real knockdown. I mean, he hit him right before, but it was more off balance and Valdez swinging too wide.
It was hope, Danny. It was hope.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. It did that middle portion, 6, 7, 8. Stevenson stepped it up, and then he kind of
started cruising.
Yeah, kind of went downhill there. We have SSP diving in the chat saying DAZN puts on the best cards. Any other good card to bet on this week? Besides the Canelo fight, I'd assume you're asking. I don't believe so. I think this week's pretty minimal. I mean, there is UFC SSP diving, huge UFC pay-per-view, but for boxing, I believe it is just the Canelo fight.
The other companies are smart. They're not trying to put a card out there versus a Canelo card.
Yeah,
especially it may Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo, Canelo's like homecoming holiday for sure.
UFC pay-per-view weekend.
That too. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh well, there's Bellator Friday as well. So maybe Bellator you could get some action in. So before we get into our breakdown for the main event, make sure guys go to mybookie.ag, hit that promo code PUBSPORTS, get your deposit bonus. 100% up to $1,000 on Bitcoin, 50% up to $1,000 on debit or credit. mybookie.ag, promo code PUBSPORTS. So it is time, main event time. We have Canelo Alvarez going back to 175, taking on Dmitry Bivol. Huge fight. Like the poster says, legacy is earned. Dangerous fight to me for Canelo to take. I think Bivol is a very tough challenger, but I think Danny might have a little different thoughts on this one. So I'll let Danny go first. Danny, your thoughts on Canelo Bivol?
Yeah, we got Canelo 57 wins with 39 knockouts, 1 loss and 2 draws, and then Bivol 19-0 with 11 knockouts. Canelo's 5'8", his reach is 70.5, and Bivol is 6 feet tall with 72.5. 72, my bad. Okay, how should I start this, man? Because I'll start with Bivol. Bivol, obviously, Russian fighter. He has a real good jab. He's not the biggest 175er, so it's not like, Canelo's going up to 175 to fight a humongous, guy. He actually is a little smarter than Plant. Plant's a little bit taller. He's like 1.5 inches taller, has a little bit more reach. So it's a similar build. So Canelo actually fought somebody bigger in his last fight. He has a good jab, good movement, and has good volume. But one thing I noticed, man, he doesn't really. His combinations are not that complex. When I say that, I'm talking about he throws a lot of straights after the jab. He doesn't really like switch off to the hooks, uppercut, body. He doesn't really throw to the body either, and I think that's going to be a big mistake in my eyes. What do you think, P?
Yeah. So as you're saying with Bivol, he's definitely a straightforward 1-2, 1-2, but eventually the opponent breaks and he's just in their face constantly. The worrisome with Bivol is his last 2 fights were against a lower level competition, and they actually tagged him a few times. Now, the even more worrisome for Bivol is Canelo is going to have a huge speed advantage, but Canelo has to avoid these punches. Bivol, to me, is a better boxer than Caleb Plant. He's better than, I see Caleb Foxy's over here saying Caleb Smith was trying to compare to Canelo. Yeah, Canelo's moving up. I mean, this guy, he's got the frame really of a 160, and he's all the way up to 175. So I will always give credit to Canelo for what he's doing. Rumor has it he wants to go to cruiserweight. I don't know how good that champion is at cruiserweight, but that's pretty nuts to me as well.
He's not that good.
Yeah, which probably why he'll take the fight. Foxy says time to move up for Shakur. We'll get to that. I do agree there as well. But I actually think this is a very tough fight. I like fight goes the distance. I like Canelo by decision. I think it's going to be hard for Canelo to put him out. Even though, because my issue with this bout is Canelo had some struggles with Kovalev. Granted, that was 3 years ago, maybe a little while ago, till he put him out. So Canelo did knock out Kovalev. The beautiful combination, devastating knockout. I think Bivol's too elusive and young still. I thought Kovalev was kind of on the backside of his career. Bivol, I think's damn near at his prime. Where I say this is a very, very tough bout for Canelo. I'm giving it to Canelo by decision, but I would not be shocked if Bivol wins the fight but loses the decision. Hint, hint. Vegas, Cinco de Mayo. But
yeah, you gotta be crazy. Bivol's winning decision here, bro. That's just
yeah.
my.
So
as the dog's barking too.
yeah.
Hey, my dog.
I really like Bivol. Like, I think Bivol's really, really good. But like Danny said, when you watch more of his fights, he's not fighting super talented fighters. Canelo's speed is crazy, and it shows up at 175. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a good fight. I think it's gonna be a really good fight. Canelo by decision. That's my take. Go ahead, Danny.
Shout out to Philip V in the chat of the show. That's what's up, man. We're happy you're here, bro. Let's get it. So Canelo, we already know he's a pressure fighter. He does the work on the body early. He picks his shots, so he's efficient because he doesn't go wild and throw too much volume. So when he does hit you, he's gonna land most likely, and it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
So the thing with Bivol, like you were saying, he throws a lot of straights. He's a good technical boxer. Has a lot of movement, throws a lot of volume. The thing with him though that I don't like is that the overhand, he's open to it, and his body too is open to it. His opponents. Obviously we know Canelo's a body puncher, and the way I see this fight is that I might be on your side in a way. I think it does go a decision, maybe. But if I had to pick, I gotta pick Bivol to lose by KO by my boy Canelo, because I think he's just gonna pressure him the whole fight. And if you're leaving your body open and you don't have a lot of combinations to switch off and throw off Canelo, it's not gonna be like so complex that Canelo's not gonna figure you out early. He's fought a ton of fighters. Look at the experience. He's got 60 fights versus Bivol's 19. So he's seen it all. And like I said before, he fought Plant, a similar build, same height basically, and same reach. And I just think Bivol's going to be too open in the body and overhand right. And I think he gets a stoppage in late rounds, like 10, 11th round. It could be a decision for sure, but if you're offering me round 7 to 12 at plus 450 against a body snatcher like Canelo, and like the poster said, he's going for that legacy, and a little sprinkle that I've been listening to, he let Bivol choose a lot of things for this fight. There's no rehydration clause. The ring size he gave him all that. They said he could have easily just asked for it, and they were willing to do it. But he said he doesn't want no excuses from anybody. So in my eyes, he's on a mission. He's gonna take this guy out and prove a statement on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, to your backing up your point and your pick, Canelo has been knocking out his opponents as of recently. Caleb Plant took him out. Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe basically quit though. Who else? Kovalev.
He makes people quit though. That's what I'm saying.
No, Canelo's hopefully he goes down as legacy. He's one of the greatest fighters.
I was gonna say, somebody said on AB said it. Bivol has been disappointing lately. No KO since 2018. That was another point I was gonna say. He's been backtracking a lot. Like, he's not, how you were saying he's aggressive. He was, but the last 4 fights, he's more a technical boxer, and that's it. He doesn't pressure a lot. And with a guy that only has 12 KOs, which is a good ratio for 19 fights, he doesn't have the best power. So fighting somebody like Canelo that's gonna come go straight to you, force the fight to you, bring all the heat, and he doesn't have to worry about your power. It smells KO to me, bro. So I gotta take at plus 450. I gotta throw a unit on that. I have to.
Yeah, no, I mean, those odds are crazy because currently at mybookie.ag, promo code PUBSPORTS, we have Canelo at seeing minus 500. So you're getting plus 450 on KO 7 to 12 for a minus 500. Similar boat we did Shakur by what decision was like minus 150. He closed minus 800. So I don't mind that. I think Canelo wins the decision. Yeah. I really think,
which is another good line. I think it's like minus 140 or something around there.
Yeah, Real Deal Prime coming here. Classic wrestling rules. Gotta love Real Deal Prime. I just think Bivol has to step up. He got the big fight.
Yeah.
He's been fighting scrubs the last few years. His last really good win was Joe Smith Jr., who he beat to a pulp pretty easily. So I think Bivol's really good. I think this is a really dangerous fight for Canelo. I'm personally shocked he took this. If I was Canelo's team, I would have fought Charlo before Bivol. That's just me. But yeah, we'll see. It's a good fight, huge main event, and huge boxing weekend.
I thought it was like that at first, Preston, but like going into the tape and stuff like that. And just Canelo's confidence going into this fight. Remember, too, his head movement is ridiculous. And like you said, Canelo's going to have a speed advantage. He's going to make this dude miss a lot, especially if you only have to dodge straight lefts, straight rights, jab here. That's it. Like, he doesn't throw uppercuts or body or a lot of hooks. So that's just my take on this fight, man.
You locking that in as your fun pick, too? The plus 475?
That's mine personally. You can go with the 10-12 if you want for a bigger. I think it's like plus 750. But I'll just take, if you're giving me 7 rounds, I'll take it just in case he does it earlier. But I think it'll be later. 9.
Oh yeah, there's no way he's gonna get.
No, it's gonna be late. It's gonna be late for sure.
Yeah. No, I mean I like that. I like that look. I like Canelo by decision.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's not a slam dunk yet. We'll see.
No. I'm with you. He will have some issues for sure, especially early. But like this is another fight you could throw money at decision, by decision with Canelo, and then sprinkle, rounds 10, 11, 12, or 7-12 just for some insurance. But I think Canelo takes it. I don't see Bivol like what Preston was saying. I can't see him winning a decision just because they're not gonna let. If anything, it'll be a draw. They're not gonna let Bivol win a decision.
A Russian going into Vegas on Cinco de Mayo.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah,
that's not happening.
No, that's not the recipe for success. Foxy here in the chat said, love Craig Richards, but Bivol made him look like a world level contender. The truth is he's British level. And as Foxy's saying, so that's like one of Bivol's recent fights. So
I love that comparison.
Yeah, British the last 4 fights has looked horrible since he whooped up what's his face, Joe Smith. He hasn't looked good. I completely agree with that. He hasn't looked good. Maybe Canelo and his team see something like I think Danny was alluding to, where, hey, take the KO prop. Maybe Bivol has lost a step or two and Canelo looks good. Maybe we'll get Canelo Charlo. Maybe Canelo Benavidez next.
We'll see. I don't know. Another thing, too, at 175, I think Canelo will have a little bit more pop, too, because that's his more natural weight. Doesn't have to cut down. And then he could really take off. Usually he waits for the second half to go for the kill. I think it'll be a little bit earlier, like 4th, 5th round. He'll start being more aggressive. But I love that Foxy. He does. Bivol has that British style to him, and I like that.
Yeah, he's not a super explosive fighter at all for sure. And we can go through prize picks. So last week I did hit on prize picks. Shakur Stevenson over 155 punches landed. You can go to prizepicks.com, promo code PUBSPORTS, first deposit match up to $100. Only first deposit, so put that 100 in, get your $100. Promo code PUBSPORTS, prize picks. Jeff, the fight is in Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena, where the Golden Knights play. That is where the fight is this Saturday, and the UFC is in Arizona, so right nearby. So pretty cool if you're local to those areas. So finalize it. Danny, best bet is?
Best bet, I'm going to take rounds 7-12 for Canelo to finish. I think it's at plus 450. I'm going to throw 1 unit on it. I think he gets to finish late. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive, like I told y'all last week, rounds 10, 11, 12 for Canelo, probably plus 800, plus 750. Late stoppage.
Nice. I'm going Canelo decision, minus 140. I guess I just give a little more credit to Bivol. Who knows? Maybe I mean if Canelo like waxes this guy pretty convincingly, I will be tip my cap to him because that'd be very impressive. But that's what I'm going with. Canelo decision -140. Foxy mentions Montana Love versus Valenzuela on undercard also
Oh
will
yeah,
be
that's
entertaining.
gonna be going.
Montana Love is the boxer who fought on the Jake Paul undercard with the very impressive stoppage victory.
Yep.
Who did he beat? He
I
beat
forget the name.
yeah, he beat someone who's like pseudo a contender, so definitely a hype prospect to watch. That'll be a good fight, as Foxy's saying. Should be a good fight. As always, guys, if you're liking this content, give us a like, drop a comment down below, give us your prediction for the fight. Canelo Bivol, thoughts on Shakur? You want him to move up? I think we're in agreement. Shakur, move up to 135 and beat Tank's ass. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, you're dying for that fight, bro. I honestly don't know. He can move up easily because obviously he's framed out at 130, but he could just take names at 130 too. But like you said, it's not like huge fights at 130. But
no, yeah, there's not much left. So yeah, give us a like, comment, subscribe if you're new. As always, stay tuned if you're watching live. We have a show coming up, the Nightcap, live betting, NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, live baseball. Anything you want, that's coming up here shortly. The Nightcap, Pub Sports Radio. As always, I'm Preston Ekdahl, joined by Danny. We will see you guys next week for another edition of The Main Event on Talkin Hands. Peace.